To order. Corey, could you take the roll call, please?
Yes. Brian Boyle.
Here.
Kim Barra.
Here.
Stephen Finnegan. Amy Gentile. Barbara Kishka. Katie Knudsen. Here. Sheila Lowe.
Here.
Sean O'Neill.
Here.
Kristen Savage.
Here.
And Superintendent Kellen.
We'll be zooming in. Okay, can you rise for the pledge? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moving on to the approval of minutes from February 17th. Sean makes a motion. Is there a second? Katie seconds. All in favor? Ooh, got here 6. 6-0. Oh, okay, let's revote that. All in favor? 5. Opposed? Abstaining? 1. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Sorry. Delegates, okay. Moving on to delegates and individuals. We have 2. Mr. Boucher. State your name and town for the record.
Michael Boucher, Atkinson, New Hampshire. I just wanted to come by and say, thank you to all the school board members who are here and volunteering your time. I know we're going to be going through a transition very soon, but I just want to come out and say that, especially to you, Sheila Lowe's and Brian Boyle, who will both be moving on, but, thank you for your time. It's much appreciated. And I actually had a suggestion for Superintendent Kellen. So I know that we're still keeping track of COVID-19 data, or keeping track of the number of cases to some extent. And I was wondering if you looked into the UNH's Safer at School screening program. I believe it's a free program, and it's totally voluntary, and parents can voluntarily participate to have their children involved, and it's just another way of tracking data. It might be a little bit more accurate, so just putting that out there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent is on there. Hello, Superintendent Kellen, on the big screen. Next,
Hello.
there he is. Jack Sapia.
Good evening, Jack Sapia, 5 Crystal Hill Road. To kind of piggyback on Mike's last comments, when you run for any board, whether it's selectman or school board, you run for a whole host of reasons. And you guys have had, to say the least, a rocky road. You don't run for pandemic, you don't run for masking, you don't run for social issues. So really, I'm here to say thank you. I want to thank Mr. Boyle and Sheila for their stuff. As you guys know, sometimes I agree with you, sometimes I vehemently disagree with you. Either way, there's been a lot of contention, but that contention, in my mind, is a reflection of how much everybody on any side of an issue, specifically the mess, really cares about the health and well-being of our children. So at the end of the day, this is a community. At the end of the day, we really care about our kids. So really, I'm here to say thank you. And for those people that have never sat on a board, these people go home every night, maybe have a libation or two, stare at the ceiling, and go to bed around 2, 3 o'clock. You put in probably 30, 40 hours a week. Everyone thinks it's just a Thursday night. It's not. So there's a lot that goes into this that people will never understand unless you've sat on the board. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for what you've done. And thank you for caring enough about the kids to put in the time and the energy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that was nice to have two positive comments. Yes, it was. Thank you. Yes. All right. Moving on, I don't see our student rep here, and well, it's school vacation week, so hopefully she's having a fun time somewhere. All right, then. Moving on, there's a special education report in your packets. This is informational. I think the head of special education is on also.
I don't know if Kelly's made it or not. Kelly had to fly out unexpectedly.
Okay.
And are you there, Kelly? No. She's, I believe, probably just about landed. At 6:30, she told her text was close to the airport, but still in the air. Could we maybe bump special ed towards the end? And if she's here, I can finish it.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Okay, let's push that out to the end then. Moving on then to summer learning. Hang on, let me just flip through here. So this is just an information for the board. As we discussed, they are trying to do some additional summer learning. Are there any questions on this? I guess I have a question. We're beginning planning for additional summer learning opportunities outside of the extended school year in Title I summer programs, which we typically have those. And these are going to be offered to all K through 8 students who would like to engage in enriching or intervention activities. Do you have a timeline for when parents can expect to hear something about this so that they can plan for the summer?
Chris, do you want me to take that one? I see you.
Yes,
as
please.
well. Okay. We're right now, when we get back from vacation next week, we have a follow-up meeting. I think it's actually Tuesday morning to finalize some of these plans. We need to, I think the last paragraph in the summary speaks to needing to look at the resources that we'll have available. So that's both financial resources, but also staffing resources. So we plan to poll our staff on their interest level and what they might be interested in and able to offer for more enrichment side opportunities. We'll have intervention as well. But then because we have these 3 different programs, we have to look at our capacity to staff all of these. So once we know that, we'll send out a poll next week to our staff, hopefully get some feedback from them, get a better sense of how many staff we might have available, and then be able to send out more information, hopefully by the end of March. I think is a good target for us to be able to have that out to people.
Okay, I assume you're going to be using ESSER funds to support this work?
Yes.
To pay staff over the
Yes.
summer?
Yep, exactly. Title I comes from Title I. ESY is in the district budget, but the other program that's referenced there will be through ESSER 3, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And are you going to put out to parents of students that we saw last week were 2 to 3 grade levels behind an invitation to
Yes.
certain programs? You are
Yes,
gonna
so
do that?
the plan is to open this up for anyone who is interested in partaking of it, but then specific invitations will be sent from each school, targeting students who are in need of more targeted intervention and some of that catch-up growth that we spoke about last 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and just one other follow-up to that. I sometimes think that parents may not understand that, if a student's passing, they may think that the student is where they should be, which I guess they should be, but can you ensure that when you put this out, that it's put in such a way that parents that are not educators may understand
Sure,
that
yes.
this really is important?
Yeah,
That's all.
absolutely, absolutely, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
We'll keep you updated as those plans develop, thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the acceptance, I'm sorry, I missed that. Elementary enrollments are next. These are projections. Excuse me? Sheila's ready, she's ready. Go ahead, Sheila.
All right, Lucy, we're going to start with Atkinson Academy. I am going to take a wild guess here that this fifth grade that we're anticipating is the fourth grade from this year?
Yes.
Right. And that number is way too close for me, and I think you need to add class.
I would disagree with you.
I'm not disagreeing. Well, where we were is where we are, where we were this year with grade 4. If you remember correctly, it was a big to-do in Atkinson with grade 4. And that the class sizes were really large. And I think we're gonna hit it again in grade 5 because you're just taking that problem and moving it a year.
So, if I may, this is 3 months early for you, and because of those conversations, we wanted the board to have a heads up now that this, as of March 1st, is where we are.
Right.
In your packet, it explains how we can staff with these numbers, with the same number of staffs that we have right now. We will absolutely be coming back in June as per policy, and so if we want to start planning ahead, that's the will of the board. But we certainly plan to come back to have those conversations before making any final determinations.
That was my first one. My second one's Pollard, fourth grade.
Yes.
Is another big red sign for me. And then the last one, I'm gonna go back to a conversation that we had a couple of months ago about taking a teacher out of Sandown North, grade 5, I believe it was, and you were looking to make that teacher a math interventionist.
So Sandown North is actually adding one teacher in the second grade. Currently, right now, they have 4 teachers at first grade, 3 at second, 3 at third, 3 at fourth, 3 at fifth.
Okay.
So they're staying equal but adding one in order to accommodate that second grade.
Just moving the fifth down to second.
Yes, the position you're speaking about are the 2 positions we never filled that are technically not included here. We posted for them, we never filled them, but we haven't included them in this packet.
Okay. One of those was in Sandown North, correct?
Sandown North and the other was at Atkinson.
Okay. I'm gonna hold that thought and come back to it when we discuss special education.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on this?
Just a curiosity question.
These numbers look, I don't have last year's numbers in front of me, but they look pretty close to what we were in the previous year. Did we see a big drop in class enrollment or school enrollment over the last year with COVID and whatnot?
No, actually, so these numbers here are exactly who we have in the previous grade right now.
Yep.
So they're projected up. So these are actually our current numbers, but in the year prior. We don't yet know. We do tend to see students who withdraw and students who enroll. That usually kind of evens out other than K and 1.
Okay, but no drastic drops of, okay.
We had a drastic enrollment this year because of how many students were homeschooled last year.
Thank you.
Sean?
Yeah, part of the comment that, to expand upon what Sheila was talking about, is I would be more supportive of something like a school that's been identified, by our test scores, which would be more of the Pollard, would be more advantageous to have the added teacher in there versus over at Atkinson Academy. Atkinson is, by those stats, the leader of the district. So having this 5th grade with the 4th grade currently, as they were going through and they were a higher student-teacher ratio, they sure pulled it out and with flying colors. So it's not a direct correlation for teachers and the number of student-teacher ratio and the quality of the education.
And we do have 2 schools identified by the state as ATS schools, both Danville and Pollard. So we do need to take that into consideration.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? It would be good at some point to hear about those 2 schools and what actions are being taken to get them off of that list. Thank you. Moving on, this is the acceptance of the 2021 annual audit report. So for new board members, we get a copy of the audit every year. We can't actually ask the auditors to come in and have a discussion with us, given that there were not many findings on this audit. I didn't really feel that was necessary. I did talk to Maria and ask her to provide a summary to respond to any of the findings, so that's what you'll see in your packet, is the action items taken to prevent these findings in the future. So I'll be looking for motion at some point to accept the 21 audit, yes?
Yeah, I was just gonna make a comment that, I praise Maria. This is always great news to see this stuff, and it's something that we have not seen at this board level for years, and it's been sorely missed. The findings that they've done here and all this stuff, I've been in doing these audits, looking at these kind of reports over the years, and this is where we want to be. And I commend you and your complete, in my opinion, turning around that whole entire department. And, kudos to you, Maria. You pulled that out and you did an excellent job. And with that, I'd like to actually make a motion to accept our audit report.
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
I'll second.
Christine, Sheila seconds. All in favor? Okay, 6-0. Thank you, Maria. Very well done.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of a Health Trust wellness donation. The donation is in the amount of $500. This was just a donation by Health Trust, Mr. Callen? You're muted.
Yes. Maria, you can probably explain it even a little bit more, correct?
We're looking for an explanation on the donation. Was there any, there's no paperwork with this, all I see is the check.
To the wellness committee every year.
Oh,
I
So
believe it's
from
something like that, yeah.
Health Trust accounts payable.
Right.
Okay,
It would
so,
be, it likely would be
It's a donation.
in response to, wellness activities that the district has done, and they return with the donation back to us.
okay, no, I see it now. So this Patty Mangini is the Health Trust Coordinator, the high school Health Trust Coordinator. So this appears to be an annual donation to the high school wellness account that they're making. Did that, Maria now knows what we're talking about?
Yes, so the high school, so Patty Mangini runs it's not only a high school, it's like the district-wide wellness program where he sends like monthly challenges for both students and employees to stay healthy. So Health Trust, in recognition of our effort to have our district be healthy, they do US 500, and it's Patty Mangini really the one that runs that. She sends emails. I think it's once a month that she has like the challenges for the health challenges.
Okay, great. So we're looking to accept the $500 donation from Health Trust. Sheila makes the motion. Sean seconds. All in favor? 6-0. Thank you. Okay, moving on, the next action item is the superintendent's goals. These are only till the end of this contract cycle or academic year, which is June 30th. So you'll see that the goals, we're looking, typically we approve the superintendent goals because those serve as the basis for the contract evaluation.
Chris, have anything else to say?
Did you want to say anything on these, or?
Would you like me to give a summary or explanation of any of them?
No,
What would you like?
So you feel that by the end of June, you'll have all the revised job descriptions for all positions? I'll just go through these quickly. We're going to continue to look for highly qualified candidates, staffing. Special ed is going to have an audit, review, evaluate, and revise as necessary the budget development process, frequent communication with school board, family, staff, and community. I think you've been doing a great job of that from what I hear. Work collaboratively with administration to develop a new evaluation system for all administrators. Develop systems and programs to provide learning opportunities that support meaningful academic growth for all students. Review and revise procedures regarding anti-bullying practices that promote a safe and welcome learning environment for all students. Work with the Timberland Regional Behavioral Health Team to revise and implement a student safety protocol. And work with police departments on school safety training. So those look like quite a few goals to get done in 3 months.
Some of those are underway, but we'd like to be ambitious. While they're articulated as my goals, I have great support from an outstanding leadership team. I'm very impressed with all with whom I've been working with, and it makes it easy to generate ambitious goals. Many of these are already underway. Finalization of some of these things, of course, well, I guess they'll never be finalized to some degree because we'll always be looking to improve upon certain things. Getting the systems in place and articulating those systems by June 30, and definitely most of which there will be products for, but then there'll be ongoing attention to these types of goals that they'll evolve as we evolve as a district, but I'm comfortable with the support that I see with the district, that we're going to be able to achieve good progress to all, towards all of these goals.
Okay, thank you. Another thing that I just thought of in terms of goals and evaluations is I think we revised, I know we did, as we withdrew from the SAU, revised the policy related to superintendent evaluation. I think that should come to the board at some point, just for information, so the board members are aware of what the evaluation process is for the superintendent, and have a discussion as to when that's going to occur and how frequently there'll be discussions about that. So if we could get that as an action item, I think that would be a good idea.
Next meeting, perhaps? Would you like that next meeting?
Yes, that would be good. We already approved it, a policy. It's just that most of the board members, several of them will have not even seen it. And we need to really, I actually don't recall what we put in for specific language as to when it needs to be done and things like that. I just know it was revised, so we need to bring it to the board. Yeah, Sheila?
We change the system? Didn't we change from 1 to 10 or 0 to 10 to?
We changed the evaluation instrument, yes.
Yes, we did.
We did, but I don't recall what it is, and as the board moves forward and they start to think about doing the evaluation, they should have in their mind what that evaluation tool looks like.
Right, because I can't.
I honestly couldn't tell you what, I remember
a long
doing it.
time ago.
It was a long time ago, right. Brian?
Yeah, do you think it makes sense to the board to make some kind of reference to facilities updates? Keith and Chris periodically updating the board or someone on what's going on in facilities?
As part of the superintendent goals?
Yeah, well, just, everything else is nicely laid out here. I just thought that might make sense to make reference someplace to,
Yeah, I
I
agree.
realize the whole process, CAP process, you got a good, strong facilities team, but I think there's enough going on right now that I think should be officially brought up to the board, what's going on, and through him, through Chris.
Yeah, I don't know what Chris is doing, he's plugging in, I think it would be, listen, what's going on up there? There he is. Good idea, Brian. I think, of course, another goal that would make sense to add is to continue to monitor the ongoing work with the performance contract and update the board on a periodic basis.
Sure.
Yeah, right, I mean.
We have a lot invested in that.
Yeah, so I'd like to see that good idea, Brian, that added as a goal. Any other suggestions? You had a nice even number there, but now you're up to 11. Sorry.
That's what happens when you don't show up.
That's what happens, yeah, that's right. Okay. So looking for a motion to approve the goals with the addition of that one other goal. Shaw makes a motion.
Second.
Sheila seconds. All in favor? 6-0. Okay. Moving on to policies, which I will do because we don't have either of our policy people here. These are both second reads. Looking for a motion to accept as a second read, policy ACA, non-discrimination, Title IX grievances, policy ADA, special education philosophy statement, and ADAB, Timberlane Regional Middle School Statement of Purpose. This, we're looking at revoking, repealing these policies because they have been outdated with the introduction of other policies.
Except for a second read, revoke, ACA, ADA, ADAB.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? 6-0, it's policies. Moving on to the administrator's report. Did I miss something? We're gonna go back there. Do we, yes, no, sorry, you're right. We need to go back to special education now?
Yeah, I just got a text back from Kelly saying she's just touching down, so I'll do the special ed
Okay.
piece. And we can always have her back to answer any specific questions.
Okay.
All right. So, here we go. Just get back to the beginning of my agenda. So, letting you know, Kelly Brooks put all of this together. She put in a tremendous amount of work. As I said, the whole team just does an exceptional job with that. I have great confidence whenever we talk about any activity, they do a great job putting things together and tireless effort doing so. So once again, Kelly's put this information together for us. I know it started with really looking at what are the percentages. So when you look at the enrollment, this is just our total enrollment from 2018, 19, and 20. You can see that we have a decreasing enrollment.
Can you go to the next slide?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, Chris, I'm just asking them to move the slides forward.
You all see I'm scrolling through thinking you're all with me.
No, we can't see it unless so I'll raise my hand when I want you to go to the next slide. Go ahead, Chris, I'll try to figure out where
So
slide
looking
you're
at
on.
that Timberlane Regional School District enrollment, you see decreasing enrollment, which is similar to many towns and districts across the state, where, we've had a somewhat steady decline, actually from 2018 to 20. And so that stands for itself. The next slide.
We have it.
Comparison of New Hampshire and Timberlane Regional School District special education percentages. So this is a comparison of the state of New Hampshire. And you can see the state of New Hampshire has been holding. Again, 18 through 20 was the data that we have available. So you can see where we have had an increase in identification of 1%, not too dramatic. However, having to look at all, consider all of the factors, including that decreasing enrollment, has a little bit of a compounded effect when we see that number going up. And we're going to see some more information specific to schools. But before that, if you go to the next slide, this is 2018-19 data on different disability type percentages. So This is looking at, the profile basically of the United States and the types of disabilities that make up the special education population across the country. Specific learning disability being the most profound, then followed by speech and language impairment. Other health impairment, that can include any type of medical condition. One of the most common is students with ADHD are identified, if they need to be identified for special education services, that's where they wind up in other health impairment. But it could be a number of other medical conditions that aren't accounted for in any of the other disability categories. Autism, developmental delay, another explanation here. Developmental delay is something that students can be identified through the age of 9. But what developmental delay is sort of a holder to say, okay, we know the student has special education needs, and this is the suspected disability. We need to identify a suspected disability and continue to evaluate the student and make a decision by the time before they turn 10 on what one of the other disability categories would be their primary disability. So it's a way of providing early intervention services for students up through that age of 9. Intellectual disability, of course, and emotional disturbance, multiple disabilities, hearing impairment, and orthopedic impairments. As you get into those, from intellectual disability and emotional disturbance, multiple disabilities, hearing impairments, and orthopedic impairments are typically, there's something that is known as low incidence handicapping conditions. That's why you see a lesser percentage of students identified with those disabilities.
Thank you. Moving on.
Next slide. The percentage of special ed students in each school. So yes, we have great variation, and that's of course of concern. This is where the point where we need to dig deeply into looking at our processes for identification. The discrepancy from Sandown Central, the Sandown Central, of course, is preschool and kindergarten. So because we don't have public preschool, you really have no measurement to say, well, is that percentage too high? It's, half of the school basically is really designed for providing special ed services. So you kind of have to take that one up. However, Sandown North compared to Atkinson, obviously it's much higher. We have to take a look and see, again, looking at our processes for identification, our evaluation processes. So we have to take a look at how students are learning in the classrooms. We have to look at, it's special ed is per special ed issue alone. It speaks to the core curriculum and instruction. We have to look at our practices across the board. So, Atkinson's lower, Danville and Pollard are really within what you would expect, similar to that of the state average. Middle school and high school tend to be a little bit higher, but those two, we have to really take a look at the types of programs and services that we're offering to students before they get to middle school and high school, as well as supporting them in middle school and high school. And we have to look at other intervention models, response to instruction, response to intervention, RTI, really looking at how we're supporting students' learning needs. If they need to be identified, they should be identified. But there is something people refer to for a long time as curriculum safety, but it's not a curriculum, it's really just the educational practices and really looking at making sure that we provide students with the meaningful opportunities for academic growth. And if they're behind, we need to make that catch up growth. And for other students, we need to provide enrichment opportunities. Next slide.
Okay, Chris, I don't think, unless anybody on the board wants to go through each individual school,
Okay.
Why don't we skip to the last slide, which is the out-of-district year-to-year comparison? Anybody on the board want to see all, no? I mean, they're easy enough to read through. Okay, so this one is important because, as you know, our special ed costs have been increasing by roughly $1 million each year, and a lot of that, I think, is driven by how many out-of-district placements we have.
Yes.
So it looks like we've trended down, well, you can't determine a trend unless you've got 5 data points, really, so, but it looks like we're going down?
Well, no, we're going up, it's going from right to left. Going down.
Well, I know we're going up, but from 21 to 22, we went down, is what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
We blossomed in 21,
Right.
but we went off the walls in 21, right?
Yeah, now we're down a little, but we're still high.
Yeah. Some of that can be accounted for. I know we had a handful of students that moved out, but you know, there's always folks moving in and out, so that's usually a wash. But, you know, the number of students that we have placed in our district program speaks to our need for in-district programming. I know years ago there was that. I know what I've learned is, you know, one of the concerns was having programs that happen in one or two schools, and students have to go, you know, a school outside of their town. Those are all things we have to take into consideration. But really, the key to providing better program and keeping from having students have to be on bus for, you know, 2 hours, 3, 4 hours a day, traveling to and from schools, because there are very few in New Hampshire. We're fortunate to be close to Massachusetts, but, you know, the number one key is having an opportunity to participate with the undisabled, and at least be within their community. But we are looking at how we provide programmatic supports to students in their home schools whenever possible, which we have a lot of room to grow in that area to prevent space in more restricted settings for the district or out of district. So the number one, when we talk about programs, one of the programs we sort of glaze over sometimes is the program that is providing to the greatest number of identified students, and that's what's known as resource. And that is what's supporting students in the general ed setting. There's some small group instruction in a separate room from the general ed classroom. Historically, when this resource rooms are centers. Really trying to broaden the continuum of supports will also lend itself well to reducing out-of-district placements or even placements within district programs. You're providing kids the opportunity to stay in their home schools whenever possible.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Sheila?
Okay, Chris, we're having the big debate down here.
Oh?
Yeah. I looked at this percentage of special ed students in each school one way, and I had a couple of my comrades here look at it a different way.
Okay.
So, I look at it as Atkinson, Danville, and Pollard are pretty stable. Sandown North, I'm not even looking at TLC because I know what TLC is about. We're all early intervention. So I'm taking TLC right out of the mix. However, Sandown North at the 23%, this number has fluctuated up and down 2% for approximately 4 to 5 years now, because I've been watching it. And it seems consistent at that percent. So my feelings were, boy, we have a lot of special education in Sandown North. And others said, well, actually, no, to them it looked like Atkinson, Danville, and Pollard weren't identifying enough. Because we have the middle school and the high school at 23. Care to elaborate? Which you might think it is?
It'll take a deep dive to the data, but speaking with Kelly, and what I've learned so far being here, I think we really need to look strongly at our process of identification.
So are we not identifying enough, or are we identifying too much? Which is it?
I don't-
Maybe it's both.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because, like I said, I looked at it one way, because I've been watching these numbers, like I said, for 5 years in Sandown. Kim looked at it an opposite way. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, you know, why it hasn't fluctuated much in North. Up 2%, down 2%, up 2%, down 2%. It's pretty much stayed at that 23, 25 mark. And that goes back to Lucy. When we had those extra positions, I think there needs to be a conversation between you guys in curriculum and special ed to see where those positions really should be going, because, I don't know, it's got to be, if we have 2 unfilled positions, then those should be going to the resources that we absolutely need.
What 2 unfilled positions? I'm not following. What positions are unfilled?
Here we go, I'm gonna go back to that again, Lucy. Way back when, a few months ago, there were some positions that were never filled.
Right.
And they were talking about making one of those positions a math interventionist.
Yeah.
And now, what I'm looking at is, I don't know, should it be a math interventionist, or should it be a reading interventionist, or should it be a special educator, should it be, do you see what I'm saying?
I think the first step is completing this audit, but to your point, and I think to the point, you were making earlier, as well as, with Lucy, with the enrollments, if we need to hire people for whatever position it is, we want to look at that, doing that in sport time. That's when we get the most qualified candidates prior to the summertime. So we can't wait to look at our support structure within special ed itself until June or July. We need to do that now. That's what we've been looking at. Kelly's done a lot of work with her team about that. And we need to look at how we distribute our staff to meet the needs of students as far as caseloads go, to look at the logistics. So I think, we need to take a couple of months to complete the audit, but there are things that we can do in the interim. We had program approval. What we found was we actually had program approval for the program in Danville, and we had students with significant needs, where they needed to spend more time outside of the regular ed classroom and spend more time in a specialized environment to be able to assist them and instructional supports in a way that would better meet their needs. So we were able to go ahead and really implement the program. And it's a program that used to exist. Things sort of seem to sort of evaporate a little bit, I guess, over the years here, as we've all found. So we're looking at taking those supports that sort of matriculated into our positions and reestablishing some of those programs and then better balancing caseloads as far as case managers go. And we have to look at better balancing instructional supports by what exactly we're talking about, Sheila. Utilizing the instructional supports where we need them, where they're most needed, not where they once were, not for any other reason other than what are going to be the most effective and efficient resources to provide to kids.
Does that make sense? Oh, it makes perfect sense to me. So the next question is, when do you think you'll be coming back with the audit results? Because I want to tune in for that meeting.
Well, I'll send you a personal invite for sure, but I would expect, I think we'll probably have it mid-May to
Okay.
early June latest.
Great, thank you.
Just
Thank
one
you.
other question. On these numbers, do these percent include like just IEPs or are they IEPs and 504s?
IEPs only. We can bring back the 5-4 numbers as well.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
Okay. Is it typical to see what we're seeing here in the increase from elementary to middle school and high school? Like, other than Sandown North, the elementary schools are around 17%, and then we jump up to 22, 23 in middle and high school. So that's way above the state average also. I mean, what kind of concerns me about that is if we're down at 17 in the elementary schools and all of a sudden we jump up to 22% in middle school, why weren't those kids identified down in elementary school?
That is the question. That's a big question. A lot of it, of course, comes by way of, additional challenges. Students become adolescents. However, we have to dig deep into that data to look at the identifications. Sometimes you might have students with a specific learning disability who have had coping strategies, been able to perform perhaps better than expected in elementary school because of the supports and the structure of elementary school. But if it's a moderate disability or more severe, they should be identified. So a lot of times, the old model was a wait and fail model many years ago in special ed. And to your point, wanted to identify them sooner than later and provide remediation strategies and really work with them on developing coping skills that are going to last as the expectations change a little bit in school and high school. And at the same time, we want to look at just seeing not expectations, but the supports at middle school and high school, which, typically change, and that's something that's, with the middle school schedule, looking to invest that middle school schedule, make some changes that create more opportunities for individualized learning for students who are not being successful. But you're right, like, ideally, if we were able to really flood with services, specifically intervention, preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, if we can develop the type of learning that students need to achieve this, especially with regards to mathematics, following that whole learning to read to learn model, it's just that much more talented students who might have specific learning disability, for example. We need to create programs and supports that are going to really provide that catch-up growth so that their skills and their strategies that they can employ keep them more on pace with their peers. When they need additional supports, we have to broaden that continuum in middle school and high school as well.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see myself, but I feel like I'm probably a talking head up there, right?
No, we don't even see you hardly. I don't. We have a big bar chart on the big screen. Yeah, only Sean can see you. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? So we will make sure, Sheila, you get a personal invitation when the audit's done, and we go back.
I'm watching this for years.
I know. Well, again, there are a lot of concerns with special education in terms of identifying why we have so many students and also, the cost. If the longer you wait, the more expensive probably can result in, especially when we have to send students out. So I'm glad we're getting a better handle on it, and we have the superintendent's expertise.
And also, please thank Kelly for the information. It was great. She did a great job.
And she has plenty more.
All right. Moving on. Administrators report?
Sure, okay. All right, as of February 25th, the CDC has lifted the mask mandate on school buses. Oh, there's Kelly. So as we return to school, the mask requirement is no longer required, I should say, on buses, but masks will be optional on school buses. School bus drivers will still have a supply of masks for any students that get a mask, and they will be provided with. Other than that, masks are optional. And I will, since Kaylee's not here, I will shoot a shout, at least, or a shout out for Project Hope for a cure, and that is, I believe, March 11th. So this should, 10th?
Saturday, March 12th, isn't it?
12th, thank you, I wasn't even close. I should know that since my son's in there, right?
Yes.
Now we have to get up. We were working on outfits last night. And March 8th, of course, Tuesday, March 8th, very important day. Please, everybody get out there and vote. It's your opportunity to be heard. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Run out to inform parents that the mask mandate on buses have been lifted.
Yes, I'm going to do a voice message over the weekend.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Hearing something over there. Okay. Moving on to the, well, actually, I'll move on to the personnel report. So there's one request here, is a request to rescind a retirement from Lee Dano, math teacher in the high school.
I'd like to make a motion to rescind Ms. Dano's retirement and say I'm really happy I'm doing it, not happy for her, but I'm really happy for us. So I would like to make that motion to rescind her retirement.
Is there a second? John seconds, all in favor? 6-0. Great. All right, moving on. Does anybody have any committee reports? Seems like we just met. Things were kind of in stasis while we wait for the board to change over. Okay. See, any other business? I think we do. Yes, Chris?
Yes. I know we would like to just take a brief moment to recognize and thank both Sheila and Ryan for their tremendous commitment and service to all of the children and the entire community. For, Children School District. I know Mr. Boyle, you've served for many years, over several terms, and I don't know how many committees you've actually sat on. I don't know if you could even add them all up. So just wanted to say tremendous thank as an Atkinson resident to you, Mr. Boyle. Thank you for all the commitment. I thank Mr. Sippy's comments, as well as Mr. Boucher's, really highlight the fact that people just don't really realize the tremendous commitment that it takes. So thank you, Mr. Boyle. And Sheila also, tremendous commitment, your involvement. You're just always thinking and always looking, to make those improvements as well. Tremendous commitment that, again, like Mr. Sabia said, when the meeting ends, it doesn't end for you all. So just want to, on behalf of the district, you both exemplify what it is to community service and the commitment to your community. You're shining examples of what we need more of as far as the approach to improving our community, improving the education for all of our kids. So thank you very much.
And I want to thank everybody on the board who has stepping up to run again. We don't want to jinx you by giving you a going away present, so if by some chance you don't win, we will take care of that later. So, Sheila, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I am going to miss each and every one of you. You know, when we started this with Jen Silver and Lee Doobie and that board, we all had a common goal, and we killed it. We all had common goals, and we achieved every one of those goals. So I'm pretty proud of this board. We've gone from a budget that was $2 million a year, raised whether we needed it or not. I did a little digging, and from 2012 to 2017, budget went up just about $10 million. From 18 to 22, it went up 3.5. So we should be very proud of ourselves that we were able to maintain it, keep it down, still maintain what we were doing. But boy, did COVID knock us on our butts. You know, I mean, we sat there for meeting upon meeting upon meeting upon meeting every week. Sometimes 4, sometimes 5 meetings a week. God bless everyone here that is still staying in. But I want to thank you all, and it's been great.
Thanks, Sheila. All right. If there's nothing else, then, Brian?
First of all, I want to thank the voters of Atkinson for entrusting me. I really appreciate the support over the years. Like Sheila, I want to thank my fellow board members. We've done a lot together, and there's a lot to be done. I congratulate anyone who has even signed up to seek to serve on the school board. There's a lot of effort, and you will learn fast. And I guess I'd be remiss because I did, don't ask me why, I had to watch some of these little candidates nights, attend one of them, that, well, people don't believe everything you hear and read. Because what you're going to find out, you know, especially if you're a candidate, that the truth is far from what you've seen. And, you know, I wish everyone has the opportunity to serve the community in different capacities. I think it's very key in New Hampshire that we are that kind of state. And again, we've got the good fortune there are people on the ballots in all 4 towns. So I want to reiterate what Chris Cullen said, make sure people get out and vote. I have one regret. I just wish that we did the best we could to bring some of these union agreements to try to close a couple of deals. We couldn't do it last year, and I hope the board that the next year is more successful in that. And I know we bargained in good faith. You've got a great staff out there. There's no question in my mind. So when Tim Lane looks ahead, you've got a very strong superintendent in here. You've got a very strong leadership team, and you've got a bunch of dedicated employees. So I think Tim Lane's in good hands, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Anything else before we end? Close? Okay. If not, I will adjourn the meeting, and we will see you in 2 weeks. The next meeting will start with a reorganization meeting, and that will be followed by a regular meeting of the board. So at the reorganization meeting, we will elect new board officers. For those that are still on the board, you should start thinking about who you'd like for chair and vice chair. Okay. I will not be chairing next year. I am putting out publicly, everybody in the audience, can you hear me? I will not be chairing next year, or vice chair. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.